What's up, everybody? This is What is Sports. I am your host, Tyler Dietz. With me is Nicholas Grant.
Yeah, hi. Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
That's all I got. That was kind of a letdown after your big intro for me, but yeah, hello.
And next we have JP Cochran.
Hey, everybody. How's it going out there? Peace be with you.
And also with you.
No, it's and with your spirit.
And with your spirit, as the Catholics say, right? All right, now today we're going to be talking about a game recap of the Auburn in Florida college football game, and we're also going to be just kind of talking about playoffs and all the different things that are going on. We don't really have a specific main topic today, but if you enjoy what you hear this episode, give us a like on our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter at WhatIsSports1 with no question mark. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or Google Play, and leave us a rating and review if you enjoy the show. Also, check out our sister show, What is Nerd? This week we're talking about something that is near and dear to my heart, cheesy 50s sci-fi movies. So check that out, that floats your boat. Finally, if you have any questions or comments, send us an email at wisportscast@gmail.com. All right, y'all. So the NHL season is upon us. Have you guys watched any hockey yet?
I have not watched any hockey yet. I'll probably catch it right before the playoffs start, or maybe during the playoffs.
Okay.
Oh, wow, that's a long ways to go. But no, I haven't watched any either, but I thought about it. I actually was going to turn some on a little while ago, before we started recording, but I thought, I'd rather watch some MLB postseason play.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably would take priority in your life right now.
Yeah, I mean, I am obviously more of a baseball fan than I am of hockey, but still, I mean, the season's wrapping up for baseball. A lot of exciting things, which we'll dive into later. But so that's where I am with hockey, I guess.
Yeah, well, I've watched a couple of Dallas Stars games. I've watched the Dallas Stars lose a few times. There's been 3 games so far this season. They've lost all 3.
Oh, man.
That's
not very good.
It's not great.
Maybe you're just bad luck for him.
Maybe I should stop watching. But so they lost against the Bruins, the Blues, and the Red Wings. So that's pretty unfortunate. They're actually playing the Capitals as we record this episode right now. I'm recording on TV, but right now it's tied 1-1. So we'll see how that ends. Hopefully their bad luck streak will end.
You said they lost to the Blues. I mean, that's not, a totally terrible thing. I mean, they did just win the Stanley Cup, and they did play them really hard in the playoffs. So, I don't think it's that bad.
Yes, they've kind of just been unfortunate with their matchups, except for the Red Wings. They weren't even in the playoffs. But oh well. Hopefully they'll turn it around. It's a long season, as JP always says.
Yeah, that's gonna be on JP's grave. It was a long season.
Now, so right now the standings though. So whenever we talked about playoffs, we didn't really talk about conferences for the NHL. So you got 2 conferences, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Within the Eastern Conference, you have the Atlantic Division and the Metropolitan Division. So Atlantic Division right now, we have the Sabres at the top. Granted, the season just started last week. So, but the Sabres at the top right now with 2 wins, 0 losses. At the bottom, we have the Senators, which I didn't know that was a team, and that is a very unfortunate team name, the Ottawa Senators.
Well, there in baseball there was the Washington Senators, and
really?
They split off. Yeah, and I believe they split off to be the Minnesota Twins. I think they brought the Senators back, and they moved to Arlington to become the Texas Rangers. So.
Okay, well, Rangers is a bit cooler than Senators.
Yeah, well, it depends where you're
really?
looking.
Wow,
that's Washington Senators. That makes sense because
Hey, the Astros used to be the Colt 45s. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wouldn't be mine. Of course, that's a little bit violent, I guess.
yeah, maybe that's why they've changed it. I don't know.
Of course, now for the XFL, they got like the Dragons and like the Murderers. for XFL. But anyway, so you also got Metropolitan Division within the Eastern Conference. You have the Hurricanes, who are right now undefeated. That they have a 3-0 record, and then the Devils, which are ranked last. Devils, that's a good name. They have 0 wins and 1 loss right now. So, again, it's all just starting up. I'm just going to kind of give you all updates as the season goes. And you have, in the Western Conference, you got the 2 divisions, Central Division and Pacific Division. You have the Blues at the top right now with 2 wins, 0 losses, and the Stars at the bottom with 0 wins and 3 losses.
Yikes.
Yeah. And then
the Blues, the Blues with 2-0, I mean, that's not surprising.
Right. But again,
they won.
It's not even that big of a difference, like, if you really think about it, yeah.
I mean, the season just started. Anything can happen.
Yes.
I mean, so I wouldn't, if I was freaking out over a few losses, I wouldn't be concerned unless your team just looked like poop.
Right.
And then I'd be a little concerned. But
well, and then in the Pacific Division, which is the other Western Conference division, you have Golden Knights up at the top with 2 wins, 0 losses, and the Sharks, that's the San Jose Sharks, which is a good team. They have 0 wins and 3 losses. So they're kind of in a similar situation as the Stars right now, just getting off on a bad foot. Hopefully things will turn around. Okay, so that's it for NHL right now. I also wanted to give a quick rugby update. Nick, did you watch any rugby since the last episode?
I actually did. I didn't watch a whole lot, but I watched some of the France and Tonga match.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, rugby's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I know I've said plenty of times on the show, like, I'm not a huge fan of soccer, but I do like it tastefully in some weird aspects, I guess, whatever that means. But I think about rugby, and we talked about this too in our rugby episode. But yeah, I mean, basically to me, it just seems like a perfect combination of soccer and American football.
Yes.
It just blends perfectly because you got the hard hitting action, and then it's like in DT mentioned this too in the last episode. It's nonstop, and so that's what I liked about it. Is just that it was just constantly happening, and it was a lot of fun. If you haven't watched any rugby out there, anybody listening, highly recommend it. It's pretty entertaining. The World Cup's on, what is it, NBC Sports right now?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, even just, I don't want to say educate yourself, but if you want to experience something new and just a different sport, I mean, it's pretty fun to watch.
I could just, if in another life, I could see myself being a big rugby fan because it seems really exciting. Like, I don't think I could ever be a cricket fan. Because
you have baseball,
Yeah.
And it's like with rugby, you have football. So there's not really time in the world to be a fan of both.
Yeah.
And so I think that me and Nick are enjoying rugby as it's just interesting. It's like different, right, Nick?
Yeah, I mean it's fresh, just partly because I've never sat down and watched a full game before of rugby, and so it's new to me. It's exciting to watch, and obviously since it is the World Cup, the stakes are higher, and so it's a little more importance in these games. Like if it was just the Broncos and the Sheep, like just these two random teams, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I don't know, whatever. I don't know what they name their teams. Yeah, I'd just be like, all right, this is fine. But knowing that these teams are actually playing for their countries in the World Cup, I think that makes it a little more exciting too.
No, and the France and Tonga match that you watched is a closer match than I've watched in rugby, because that was 23-21, so that sounds like a pretty intense match right there. Which is also crazy because France is a fantastic rugby team. They crushed the U.S. in the match that I watched. That was last Wednesday. It was 33-9. France beat the U.S. And that match I was really into it for the first half, and the U.S. really seemed to stand a chance against France. But then in the second half, France just dominated them. It was embarrassing. But it's still fun to watch right now. So Pool C is the pool where the U.S. is in. The U.S. is last. But Tonga is right above the U.S. in fourth place. They have 3 losses. So if the U.S. can eke out a single win, then they'll be above Tonga. But they're probably not going to advance past the group stage. But if you're listening, the U.S. is playing against Argentina. Actually, if you're listening to this, the game's already over. They're actually starting at 11:45 p.m. On Tuesday, October 8th. That's when we're recording this. But I imagine that they will have a primetime re-air of this, probably the day that this episode releases on October 9th. Not sure exactly when, though. We'll post that on social media in the morning whenever this episode launches. But yeah, support your team. It's looking. I mean, I think that the odds are kind of slim that the U.S. will beat Argentina, but hey, anything could happen. It's rugby.
Yeah, I think I think Argentina is like with as far as South American countries go, rugby in Argentina is like the most popular in South America, right?
Yes, and actually, I believe that they're the only South American country with a. No, okay, Uruguay has a rugby team in the World Cup as well, but so it's just Argentina and Uruguay, which I know that Argentina is ranked higher than Uruguay. But for the group stage, the top 2 teams will advance in each group. So right now in Pool A, that's Japan and Ireland. In Pool B, that's South Africa and New Zealand. Pool C is England and France. Pool D is Australia and Wales. None of these are upsets. It's likely that these top 2 teams in each group are going to advance. But the quarterfinals don't begin until October 19th. So we have another episode before then. So I'll update you guys on how the group stage standings are going then. All right, that's all I got for NHL and rugby. JP, your turn. You got some NFL stuff for us?
So, all right, let's go over some of the exciting, not so exciting NFL games that occurred this past Sunday and Monday. So I'm a big Cowboys fan. We'll just start with them. They had a promising start to the season. They won their first 3 games, and then they've lost their last 2 games against the Saints and the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Packers, I don't know, just seems to have the Cowboys' number. He always just seems, I don't know, the Packers just always seem to do really well against the Cowboys. So the Cowboys lose like by 10 points or something. The first 3 games they played, where they played the Redskins, the Giants. Okay, and these teams both lost. They're sorry teams, and also the Dolphins. There are 3 of the worst teams in the NFL this year, and so we beat them. But playing better teams like the Saints and the Packers, we can't seem to beat. We're beating the teams that we should beat and losing games that like the teams. I don't know if the teams are necessarily better than us, but we just seem to have a lot of trouble with them.
Well, if they're beating us, that means that they're probably better, right?
I mean, I don't know. Like you're looking at talent too. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. I mean, are the Saints, because like the Saints didn't even have Drew Brees, and that was like a really low scoring game. So
don't even get me started on that game. That was atrocious. That's horrible.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think it was just solid defense and sloppy. I think it was a mix between solid defense and sloppy offense in that game. It was something else.
So to go over to some other games, the Eagles beat the Jets. The Jets are not a good team this year. They have a losing record. Their quarterback has been out though. Sam Darnold of the Jets has been out.
Yeah, he's been kissing people. He has what's the kissing disease?
Mono.
Yeah, like in middle school.
That's right. Hey, but he's been out for several because mono can, I guess, make your spleen swell or something like that. Basically it puts your spleen in jeopardy of rupturing. So they have to be careful. If your spleen ruptures, then
it doesn't sound good.
That can become fatal.
That can last for like several weeks, though, right? How long is he out for?
No, he's been out for a while.
For a while.
I mean, I think he's actually supposed to be coming back this week.
Yeah, he's coming back this week to play the Cowboys. So, but anyway, I mean, the Jets still don't have a very good team. The Eagles won, and so right now that they have, the same record as the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are ahead. So the Cowboys are 3-2. The Eagles are 3-2. Cowboys are first in their division though because I think they have a better divisional record. So anyway, we have the Panthers over the Jaguars, and then Giants fall to the Vikings 28-10. So the Vikings have had a tough. Not necessarily. First of all, the Giants are not very good. They have the Eli Manning, the longtime quarterback of the Giants. Who also won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants, is benched right now, and they're having their rookie start for them. Nick? Do you remember his name?
Yeah, it's Daniel Jones, but I mean they got him in. The Giants drafted him in the first round. He's the heir apparent, and now he's really the heir of Eli Manning, and so they're kind of hoping he's gonna be their new franchise quarterback. And his first game, I believe he did pretty well, but I think he's been all right since then. But I mean, he's a rookie, but I mean he's shown that he has a lot of potential.
So. Anyway, they've been doing. He's been doing pretty well, but he's still a rookie. The Giants also just overall aren't very good. Vikings, Kirk Cousins, he's had a tough start to the season.
And that's what I'm surprised about, because in Washington, I mean, I know it's a different team and a different offensive playing style, but I mean, he was lighting it up in Washington for the Redskins, and he played really well with with some okay receivers. And granted, he had Jordan Reed at tight end, so that helped him as well when he was healthy. But he goes over to Minnesota, where you have Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Kyle Rudolph isn't a terrible tight end, and he seems to be doing worse.
Right.
I don't get it.
Well, and I don't know much about the Vikings, but I know that for fantasy football, the Vikings defense was the first defense that I got. They were ranked 133, but I haven't used them a single time because the Jacksonville defense, which was my backup defense at first, they're pretty much always scoring higher. So it seems like the Minnesota defense is sort of lackluster. at least for fantasy.
I wouldn't say that. Well, I mean, their defense actually is pretty stingy.
Yeah, I imagine last game they would have gotten a lot of points for you because they held the Giants to 10 points, and I'm not sure if they.
Yeah, they did do well last week.
Yeah, but anyway, so the Vikings, Adam Thielen and Sam Diggs have come out and voiced Stephon Diggs, yeah, that's right. Have voiced their frustration with Kirk Cousins. He's just hasn't been living up to his expectations. But actually, so this past game they played better, and we'll see what happens with the rest of the season. But Kirk Cousins, I mean, he does have a big contract, so it's not like they can just kick him to the curb. I mean, they can, but they'll be losing a lot of money if they do that. We got the Texans destroyed the Falcons 53-32. I think the Falcons have been a big disappointment this year. They're 1-4. A lot of people picked them as a at least a playoff team. Not sure exactly what's going on with the Falcons. They have a good quarterback. Their coach is on the hot seat. I know that. Talking about hot seats, Jay Gruden, the coach of the Redskins, was fired yesterday. He got, I think he got called to the office. He had to be there at 5 a.m. just to be fired. Something like that.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, but the Redskins have not played a game. That's one of the teams that we beat this year. I mean, unfortunately, last week they played the Patriots, who are, I mean, golly, it's amazing. They're, again, another year, just a lot of people expect them to win the Super Bowl again, or at least to be in the Super Bowl. They're 5-0, have not lost a game. Redskins are 0-5. A lot of unhappy Redskins fans. I mean, I was watching the game, and I mean, half the stands were empty. I mean, it's just like people don't even really care to watch them.
Do you know why the coach got fired? Was it just poor performance, or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure how long he's been the coach for, but just losing seasons, haven't made the playoffs, low attendance, a lot of issues. I mean, it's not just the coach, but sometimes to appease the fan base, or just some sort of change sometimes helps. So, the Jay Gruden, the brother of the Raiders head coach John Gruden, was fired.
Well, you got anything else for us for NFL news, or is that about it?
The Chiefs lost in a surprising upset to the Colts, 19-13. This was, the Colts aren't a terrible team. They've showed some resilience because Andrew Luck, their quarterback, retired during the preseason. But I doubt many people picked them to lose against the Colts on Sunday Night Football in prime time. But the Chiefs are now 4-1. They still have a really good record, but they lost. Pat Mahomes was sort of injured. He just didn't really look himself. And last game I'll go over, Browns and 49ers, Monday Night Football. the 49ers destroyed the Browns 31-3, which is pretty surprising.
The Browns have been like a big deal this season, right?
Yeah, because they've been for a long time. They didn't win any game. They were awful, and people are excited. A lot of people.
And then last year, they got Baker, and there's new hope in the regime. They had Nick Chubb, rookie running back. He played well. Then the main thing is getting Odell Beckham Jr. in the offseason, and everybody's saying, "Oh, this is the Browns' time to shine." They have two good receivers. They have a good running back, good young quarterback, a good tight end. This is it. And then so far this season, it has not been it. I think they've only won one game, right?
No, they won 2 games. They've won 2 games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they just haven't looked as good as people were expecting them to be.
Right. And so, there's still hope for them. I'm not really sure how the rest of the Browns division is doing. But surprisingly, the 49ers, I had no idea until really today that the 49ers were 4-0. They haven't made the playoffs in a while. But they seem to be a contender this year. Wow. So anyway, that's all the NFL news I have.
All right. Thank you very much, JP.
Yes.
All right. Well, speaking of football, we all watched the Auburn versus Florida college football game this past Saturday. So let's get into it.
Game recap.
So Auburn and Florida. I'm going to start with my opening thoughts. This was a great game, especially after last week. We watched our kind of wet fart of a Dallas and New Orleans game. This was great. A lot of fun. What did you guys think of this one?
It wasn't bad. I think it was, in my notes, I thought it was fairly interesting. It was pretty much just based on, Auburn's lack of offense.
Yeah.
Florida's defense. Granted, it was pretty much a defensive battle, and that was fine. It felt a little sloppy too, with Florida, but it was definitely entertaining. It was close throughout the game.
You talking about some of the interceptions that Florida threw and like the fumbles and stuff?
Yeah, I think Florida had. Let me see. I wrote it down. That Florida had 4 fumbles were lost, and 3 of them were by the quarterback Kyle Trask. And Auburn threw 3 interceptions and had 1 fumble loss. So it was a lot of turnovers, which, it kept the game close. I really don't think it wasn't as close as the score indicated. By the way, we'll just say this because we didn't say it yet. Florida won 24-13, and it really, to me, it didn't seem that close.
It seemed like Florida kind of owned it most of the time, right?
Yeah, we can just kind of dive into it a little bit. So Auburn came out, didn't look that great, and then on the second offensive play, Florida threw a big pass
that
to the
was
receiver.
Awesome. That first Florida touchdown, like that's it was 60 yards or something like that.
Yeah, I think the receiver, let me see his name. I believe it was Freddie Swain.
Mm-hmm.
He just was weaving in and out of the defenders and made it look easy. And then they held Auburn to a punt, and they went down the field and made some field goals, and it was pretty much kind of like a back and forth thing. Florida, they looked on their second drive, looked like they're going to score again, and then their quarterback was hit hard and fumbled, and so there were several drives. It's kind of, to me, sums up the game. Florida would occasionally start making a good drive down the field, and they would be close to scoring, and they fumbled.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, and so what was exciting to me was, so whenever Auburn missed a punt return, I think it was in the first quarter, Auburn missed a punt return for Florida, like the guy didn't catch it, and then Florida ended up recovering it, right at the 20-yard line or something like that. But then Florida fumbled the ball, and then like the lineman, like the Auburn lineman, the big old dude.
The defensive lineman, yeah.
Yeah, he was number 5, I think. Yeah, number 5, I forget his name. He started running the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And that was pretty funny. And then he ended up getting the ball again in like the fourth quarter, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a beast. I mean, I mean, Auburn's defense played very well throughout the game to cause those turnovers, and I mean, but Florida's defense was just better because Auburn couldn't get anything going. And so yeah, you mentioned so Florida punted it. The Auburn return man, he touched it but didn't pick it up, so Florida recovered. Then Florida gets hit, the quarterback fumbled and recovered by Auburn. And then I think it was like the next play in the second quarter, Florida made an interception and got the ball back. And so it was just like turnover city right there.
Yeah.
And then Florida threw a touchdown, made it 14-6. And I think at the end of the half, it was 17-13. And the Florida's quarterback got hit hard at one point and was out for a little while. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is how bad Auburn's offense was. They had 5 3-and-outs in the first half. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, mainly I think it was just that Florida's defense was just dominating that game. And Auburn's quarterback, Bo Nix, we talked about him before when we watched the Auburn and Oregon game. He's a true freshman. So he's an 18, 19-year-old kid playing in one of the hardest college football venues for any kind of any visiting team. And then you get this kid who's only played a few games in Division I. And I think, granted, he threw 3 interceptions. The offense didn't do a whole lot, but I mean they did okay. They were resilient. But yeah, I mean it was a fine game. It's just a pretty big defensive matchup.
Yeah, cool. Well, I enjoyed it. And so next week we got to decide on what we're gonna watch. What are our options? What are you thinking, Nick?
Well, we got several, a lot of big games coming up. On Saturday, we have number 6 Oklahoma versus number 11 Texas.
Oh man, that's the game. Let's just call that the game.
All right. Well, I mean, that's the Red River rivalry. I know a lot of people. It used to be called the Red River Shootout, but yeah, it's gonna be 11 o'clock in the morning on Fox.
Dang, why is it gotta be so early?
Man, it's the Texas State Fair.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Are they playing at the? They're playing at the State Fair?
Old Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's every year they play at the Texas State Fair, and it's a crazy atmosphere. I'm actually going to the game this year, so that'll be.
You don't think they still got tickets for sale, do you?
Yeah, they do.
Are you bringing Nolan?
No, I am not. Just
no, I'm just kidding. I didn't think you would.
That wouldn't be too fun.
I was wondering if y'all were gonna tailgate, get them started.
You and Nolan.
No, but so there's that happening. It's gonna be a lot of fun. One of the biggest rivalries in college football. One half of the stadium's in burnt orange, the other half's in was it their color crimson?
Crimson, yep.
Yeah, crimson. So that'll be fun. Then you got number 1 Alabama versus 24 Texas A&M. I mean that's just ranked.
A&M.
I think
A&M has a tough schedule this year. They have one of the toughest schedules. They've played Clemson. They played Alabama. They played Auburn. I think they might play Georgia. I'm not sure, but they have a tough schedule. I don't know. I was just one of my good friends went to A&M, and so I just probably out of all the college teams, I root for A&M the most because he brainwashed me. So over the years, I just went to some games down in College Station, which are pretty exciting. But anyway, they just have a really tough schedule compared to Clemson. Clemson has one of the easiest schedules. I'm not sure what they're ranked, but they have an easy schedule.
I think they're ranked number 2, but yeah, I mean they play in the SEC, like we've said before, is one of the most difficult conferences in college football. So I mean they're the ones who left the Big 12 to go to the SEC. So they knew they knew what they're getting themselves into. But we have that game 2:30 on CBS. Then later that night, there's number 10 Penn State versus 17 Iowa at 6:30 on ABC. And then we have number 7 Florida and number 5 LSU at 7 o'clock on ESPN. So those are our college games. And then on Sunday, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 1-3, versus the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 2-2. I'm not really interested in that game at all because both teams are kind of meh. So, what are you guys feeling?
We'll do Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And Yeah, Nick, if you, I was like looking at tickets, they're like almost $300, so I think I'll pass on getting a ticket to that game. But if you know anyone who drops out and looking to sell their ticket, let me know.
You can go sit outside the stadium asking for tickets in that English voice.
I would love a ticket to the bowl game, please.
Yeah, that could work.
I just watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Which actually takes place during the Oklahoma-Texas Longhorns game day weekend.
All right, yeah, I was wondering how you're going to connect that dot. I was like, all right, cool. You watched that movie. Right on.
But anyways, yeah, looking forward to that. I'm going to go beg for tickets this weekend, so wish me luck.
I mean, even if you don't have a ticket to the game, if you can get to the Texas State Fair that weekend, it's mayhem, but it's a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of people just acting crazy. So yeah,
I like going to the fair and looking at all the cars. I like looking at the trucks, kind of especially with one tire on a big old rock, looking at a big old, Chevrolet or Tundra or something like that.
That's right. Nothing like, hey, and all of our listeners who are not residents of Texas or don't know the Texas State Fair, you guys got to come to Texas and experience the State Fair. Get yourself a deep fried Twinkie and all that stuff.
I mean, pretty much everything's fried. It's awesome.
Yeah, stuff that you didn't know that could be fried is fried there.
So moving on, Nick, you got some MLB talk, don't you? You're gonna.
I do. Yeah, got a lot of stuff happening. So I'll keep it brief. We don't need to get too much detail. But right now we've talked about this. It's the division series. It's I guess technically the second round of the playoffs because you have the wild card game starting off, but. This is where it mainly starts. All right, so in the American League, you had the New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins. That series is already wrapped up. The Yankees won it 3-0. It's a little surprising because the Twins' offense was pretty strong in the regular season, but the Yankees are just dangerous, man. And so they have already punched their ticket on to the American League Championship Series. So they've already advanced. Then right now, literally, as we're recording, it's Game 4 of the Tampa Bay Rays and Houston Astros. The Astros currently lead the series 2-1. And, Deets, you said you're always excited about playoffs. Well, this is a fun series to watch. The Rays have to win the next 3 games to advance, and the Astros just need 1. But, they need 2 games to advance. This is Game 4. And so they're playing right now as we're recording. And as we're recording, it's the bottom of the 4th. And the Rays are up 4-0. So
wow,
that's a pretty big surprise.
I remember that happening with the Rangers. They were up 2-0 on the Blue Jays, and then the Blue Jays came back and won the freaking next 3. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm still bitter.
Yeah, that's sports, man. It happens.
It's sports.
Definitely an interesting series. I'm kind of pulling for the Rays. I have family that lives in Houston, so if they listen to this podcast, they probably think I'm speaking blasphemy. But I'm pulling for the Rays because they're a small market team, and I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. I was pulling for them back in the day when they made their other World Series run, so it'd be cool to see them win it. But then over in the National League, you have, all right, man, Deets, you got to pay attention to this.
Okay.
So you have the St. Louis Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. They're tied at 2 games apiece.
All right.
So Game 5, do or die game. It's Wednesday, October 9th at 4 o'clock
That's tomorrow.
Central Time.
That's tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, that's the day that this podcast comes out.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
So Wednesday, October 9th on TBS. Check it out, Game 5. And then Washington Nationals and Los Angeles Dodgers. They're also tied at 2. So you have Game 5, do or die game, Wednesday as well, Wednesday night, October 9th. So,
all right, I will not miss either of those. I will be there watching them.
Just think that the Dodgers and the Astros get beat out. I mean, that would be just such a surprise.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, so a lot of some big games happening Wednesday, and then on
in Nationals.
Thursday.
Hold up, real quick. Nationals were a wild card team, right?
Yes. Nationals were the wild card team, and the Dodgers had the second best record in the major leagues, and so they had the best record in the National League, and so that would be an upset.
That's
awesome.
I
mean, the Nationals are a pretty good team. But yeah, just kind of go back a little bit. The Tampa Bay Rays, if they're able to hold on and win Game 4, they would, if necessary, Game 5 would be played Thursday, October 10th on FS1. and that's going to be played in Houston. So it's a pretty big series. A lot of exciting stuff happening in baseball.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm actually, as a Houston native, I shouldn't be saying this, but I would like to see the Rays win tonight so that we can see a really tense Game 5. That's what matters to me.
Yeah, I mean, you know what people say, the best two words in sports is Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't have 7 games. We only have 5 in these series, so I guess the second best words would be Game 5.
Yep.
So yeah, that's happening. And then just to let y'all know, the American League Championship Series Game 1 is Saturday, October 12th. And the National League Game 1 of the National League Championship Series is Friday, October 11th. So it's going through and a lot of exciting stuff. So if you want to watch baseball or like baseball, it's happening, man. And I don't know what else to say. This is the time to watch it. It's coming to a close.
That it is. Now, okay, so we also have the WNBA Playoffs. Those are still happening. Game 4 is actually currently happening at the moment that we are recording this episode between the Washington Mystics. I always almost say Miskits.
The Miskits?
The Miskits.
The Washington Biscuits.
The Washington Mystics and the Connecticut Sun. Since the game is on right now, I'm actually going to go back in and do an insert of me doing a recap of Game 4, which you are now listening to right now. So the Connecticut Sun pulled out a victory against the Washington Mystics, ending the game 90-86. The Sun had a halftime lead of 16 points, which they came very close to losing as the Washington Mystics caught up and started the fourth quarter with a lead of 5 points. But ultimately, the Sun was able to catch up and, again, end the game 90-86 with the Sun taking the win. So the next game is going to be this coming Thursday night. It's going to be Game 5, so that'll be the last one. Very exciting for the Connecticut Sun. It's going to be airing Thursday, October 10th at 7 p.m. Central on ESPN2. So, last and certainly not least, JP, you attempted to watch some NASCAR since I wasn't able to catch up with it this Sunday. So, we had the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Dover this Sunday. So what happened, JP?
Okay, that's right. In Dover, Delaware. So basically, Kyle Larson ended up winning the race. Deez, are you familiar with him after watching all this NASCAR?
No, he's not a top 5 standings guy, I don't think.
No, he's not. So he celebrated his first victory in 2 years Sunday at Dover International Speedway, taking the checkered flag by 1.578 seconds over Martin Truex, Treux. Do you know who that person is?
Yes, he's been the number 1 guy for a while.
Okay. Anyway, so exciting day for Kyle Larson, first victory in 2 years, and then so Truex was right behind him, and then third place we have Bowman, fourth place we have Harvick, fifth place Hamlin, and sixth place the only person I'm familiar with is Kyle Busch. So
yep.
And so that gives us the standings right now for the NASCAR. What is it? The NASCAR Cup Series?
The Monster Energy Cup.
Okay, that's right. We have Truex, who's in first place with 3,095 points. Denny Hamlin in second place, who's 15 points behind the leader. Kyle Busch, who's actually tied 15 points behind the leader. Kevin Harvick, 21 points behind. Brad Keselowski, 43 points behind.
Keselowski, yeah.
Yes. So anyway, that's your top 5 right there. Actually, top 6. So anyway.
So
you know what? No. Kyle Larson is number 5 now. He's 30,
wow, that's cool.
He's 32 points behind. Yeah. So because I went from 4 to 6.
Nice.
So Larson's 5th, and then Keselowski is 6th.
All right. Well, way to go, Kyle Larson. Okay. So that's it. Do you got anything else for us?
Is the Talladega race coming up?
Yes. The next race is going to be Sunday, October 13th at 1 p.m. Central. The 1000bulbs.com 500 race at
That's my favorite one.
Oh yeah, at Talladega Super Speedway.
Oh yeah, all those bulbs, man, they get to you.
That's right. That's a lot of bulbs. I hope that the trophy is just like 1,000 bulbs, like glued
Or it's
together.
just like one giant light bulb.
But so tune into that. I'm going to be watching. I believe that there's also going to be a Formula One race that day. So it's always fun to watch those back to back. Let me double check just for the sake of keeping our listeners up to speed. Yes, Sunday, October 13th, we're going to have the Japanese Grand Prix. That's going to be at, early in the morning. So set your DVRs at 12:10 a.m.
Ooh, that is very
Sunday,
early. That's
yeah.
about as early as you can make it.
So, tune in. Racing's fun to watch. All right, well, thank you very much for that. Do you guys have anything else to talk about before we wrap up the episode?
Man, I think that's good. I think we had some good conversation. Man, a lot of good. Okay, October is the best month for sports because, first of all, we have playoff baseball, we got football, we have college football, and I kind of like. Well, I know baseball's in the playoffs, but I think college and NFL is more exciting in the regular season at times because, like when you get in the playoffs, there are fewer teams to watch, and right now, you see the season shaping up. You don't know what's going to happen with your team, and there's just a lot to talk about. So.
Well, hey, we also got Major League Soccer playoffs coming up pretty soon, which we're not going to talk about today, but those actually begin on October 19th. So, and as of now, the FC Dallas is going to be in playoffs, so we're super excited about that here at What is Sports. But that's all we got for y'all this episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, give us a like on Facebook and Twitter at What Is Sports 1 with no question mark. Also, subscribe to our show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. Plus, leave us a rating and review if you enjoy the show. Also, of course, send us an email at wisportscast@gmail.com and check out our new Fantasy Football Listener League episode, which drops this Saturday.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of craziness.
A lot of shenanigans in that episode.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So even if you're not in the league, definitely check it out because it's only 15 minutes and it's fun. It's more of us and we're all friends and family here. So you're part of the What Is Sports family. So you will enjoy it.
That's right. We don't have friends. We have family.
If you're here, you're family.
Olive Garden, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I was thinking Taco Bell, but yeah, it's probably Olive Garden.
Either way, I'm hungry now. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday.